everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and before we get this vlog underway, I would like to apologize for this wild lighting. It is currently 8:38 p.m. on Monday the 11th. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Mars, why are you starting a vlog at 8:45 p.m.? It's because I want to start a new book, and the book that I want to start is one that I'm going to be vlogging for. So, we're going to start the vlog so that I can then start the book. It makes sense to me. This is actually going to be a multi-book vlog. The plan is to finish out trilogies. I have so many trilogies where I've read the first two and I only have one more book to go and I just haven't read them. So the plan for this is to finish off 3 trilogies, a trilogy of trilogies, if you will. And the first one I'm going to read is the book that I'm the most apprehensive about, and that is When She Reigns by Jodi Meadows. I am apprehensive about this because I really, really loved the first book. The first book is called Before She Ignites, and I actually own it physically. It's over on my shelf. I don't know when I got this or where, however long I've had it, but I finally read it recently-ish, within the past year or so, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the first book. I thought it was so much fun, I thought it was so interesting, I enjoyed the characters and the world, all of it was really great. And then I read the second book. The second book is called As She Ascends. I hated this one so much. The characters, like, some of them did a complete 180 and were so different. I was so confused on all the different changes to the plot that were happening. The world building didn't really go in a direction that made sense for me. I just was completely taken out of it by the second book. It was so not for me. But I am determined to finish this series. So I'm going to read When She Reigns. It'll be the first book for this vlog, and I'm going to start it tonight. Now, this is a YA fantasy series that follows Mira, and she's the hope bearer. So in this world, there are 7 islands, or 6, or 7, something like that, where they are essentially the bodies of these gods that fell to Earth. And it's called the Fallen Isles trilogy because they're islands that are fallen gods. And Mira is from the island of the Lovers, and she is the daughter of the rulers of the island, and she was called the Hope Bearer because the day she was born, this treaty was signed between all of the different islands. There's a whole lot of stuff, but that's like the gist of it that you need to know. There's dragons in this book, and the dragons I thought were super duper cool. Our main character, Mira, reads as very autistic to me, specifically because of the way she's interested in the dragons, and like more of her mannerisms too, but specifically like the way we learn about the dragons through her eyes just feels like a very autistic thing to me as an autistic person, so that's my headcanon. And like I said, I really enjoyed Mira in the first book. In the second book, not so much, but basically she learns that the dragons are being sold off, and that's like the seed that starts the first book, and then it all spirals out from there. I'm not gonna go into anything else too deep because then I would be in spoiler territory, and that's just so much. I also don't really remember a lot. I think as I get into it, I'll remember more of what happened, or maybe I will look up a quick summary of the first 2 books before I jump into When She Reigns, but yeah, I just want to see how everything plays out and everything that happens with the dragons and the gods and the different political things that are going on between the different island countries, because there's the different islands, but then there's also like the mainland and like stuff going on with there's this big war that's been going on. It's a whole lot, and I don't think this is a very long book. I did look it up earlier, and I don't remember exactly how long it was, but I think it was somewhere around 400 pages. I'll correct myself at some point in the future if I'm wrong, but I'm going to get started on this tonight and hopefully make a nice dent in this book, and I will update you at some point as I get into it. Hello friends, it is just about 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and I have my first update on When She Reigns. This book is conveniently split into 6 different parts, so I read the first 2, and I'm here to update you, and then I think I'll update you after the next 2, and then at the end. That feels like decent spacing, even though they aren't evenly split, because I think I said that this book was just under 400 pages. I lied. It's just under 500 pages. I got it confused with a different book that I looked at the length of, which you will see later on in this video. But it's 479 pages in at least the ebook I'm reading, and I've gotten to page 177, so I am more than a third of the way into it, but I've read a third of the parts that it's split up into. So I'm here to update you. And it's going fine, I think. I'm not like loving it, but I am interested in where it's going. I feel like there's so much that feels so separate. Like there's a lot of different elements that are super cool, like the islands being these gods that fell to earth, and also like the dragons are really cool, and then like the political stuff with this empire on the mainland is all really cool. But like all of these things aren't put together in a way that I think is satisfying. Like it's kind of all just thrown together for whatever, and it doesn't like feel super cohesive. And we're also diving more into political stuff in a way that I don't really get. And like there was literally a scene in one of the first few chapters where our main character was talking to this other person, and Mira, the main character, was like, it doesn't make sense that this person would do this thing. And then the other person she's talking to is like, well, not everything always makes sense when it comes to people wanting to be in power. And like, yes, but also it really in that moment felt like a cop out on the author just trying to say like, I don't have to explain this character motivation because it doesn't have to make sense to my characters, but like it has to make sense to your reader, you know? So, I don't know. I'm going to keep reading. I'm not hating it, but I'm not loving it. It's very middle of the road for me right now, but it is reading really, really fast, which I appreciate. I do love like a slow meandering novel, but at this point in time, what I'm in the mood for is a fast-paced actiony novel, and we do have that going on right now, especially the last couple of chapters. The last couple of chapters, there was an infiltration. There's a second infiltration happening right now that like kind of piggybacks off the first one. There's a like political thing happening, not quite a coup, but like it kind of feels like a coup. There's been bloodshed, anarchy. I am excited to see where that goes, but also knowing all of the other threads of plot that are happening, I'm not like super excited to see where it goes because I'm worried that it's going to come together in an unsatisfying way, the way that a lot of other plot threads have come together since the second book. So I'm gonna go eat dinner and then read a little bit more, and I will see you once I have finished parts 3 and 4 of this book. Good morning, friends. It is 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and I've got an update for you. I did so much reading last night, and then this morning I read the last 2 chapters that I needed to reach the end of part 4. So I'm now 2/3 of the way into this book, and I genuinely don't know how I'm feeling about it. There's some really cool stuff going on, but also a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense. The characters have been traveling, which is fun. I love a good travel montage, and now they're in this new place, so that's exciting. We got to meet a lot of new characters. The politics are kind of expanding in a way because they're in this new place, and all that's pretty fun. This last chapter, though, the one right at the end of this section, the break into Act 3, I guess, or like the lead up into in Act 3, uh, it really confused me. I at first thought it was like a metaphor or like something happening in the character's mind, maybe like a vision of things that might come to pass. I don't know. Then, like at the end of it, I was like, wait a minute. I think all of that stuff actually happened. and it was like death and destruction and all that, you know, the usual. But I just genuinely was so confused because I read like 30 pages or however long the chapter was, thinking like, oh, this is interesting, and then I got to the end, I'm like, wait, what? Because it wasn't written in a way that made it seem like it was actually happening. It made it seem like it was all in the main character's head. But I guess it's because she's got like dragon magic or whatever, so she could like see all of this stuff happening across the city, even though she's just in one place. I don't know. It was a very bizarre choice stylistically or like from a writing standpoint. So I don't know that. We've also been introduced a new type of magic, which is strange for book 3 in a trilogy. So there's the 7 Isles, or 6, because 2 of them are together. It's weird. Um, they each kind of have their own magic. So the people from the island that is the gods of love, that's one word, it's like 2, but it's kind of 1. They basically have like a charm speak kind of thing. Then the people from the island of shadows can like manipulate shadows, things like that. It's a very strange like organization of the magic too, because you have like there's the lovers, there's shadows, there's warriors who are all super strong and stuff. There's the god of silence, and then there's destruction. That's another one, but it's like I think it's mindful destruction is what it was called. Um, and then the last one is farming nature, something along those lines. So like very weird deity domains, if you want to call them that. But that is neither here nor there. We've already established that in book 1, and we know that they each kind of have their own little magic system. And then we learned that our main character has like a different kind of magic, which, like, yeah, she's the main character. That is understandable. She affects these things called Norstones, which are like part of the earth and also connected to the dragons. But then we learned that there's like normal magic on the mainland in the Empire, which I say normal magic because it's basically they met up with this Imperial spy and she gave them clothes, and then she took out a literal magic wand and just like tapped the clothes and made them look like guard clothes so they could blend in. And I'm like, that's weird. That suddenly we just have this random new type of magic. And it just seemed very convenient. Like, why not just give the main character's guard clothes? Why involve that? Because we also haven't seen that kind of magic since. So, I don't know, it was very, very weird. So as you can see, I'm very conflicted about how I feel about this, because on one hand, I am enjoying it more than book 2. On the other hand, it's just got a lot of stuff that I really don't get why it is the way it is. So I will have to continue reading. I've got the last 30% of the book. I'll probably finish it today, if I'm being honest. If not, it'll be the same thing as happened today, where I read most of it tonight and then I finish it up in the morning. But, yeah, we'll see how I feel about it at the end. If I can figure out how I feel about it, I might just be confused like I am now. But then we get to move on to another book. So hopefully I like that one better. And by that I mean, I'm not confused about if I like it or not. But I'm getting ahead of myself now. I'm gonna get on with my day. I'm gonna read the rest of this book, and I will see you when I finish it. Hello, friends. It has been several hours since I last saw you. It is already pitch black outside, despite the fact that it's only 5:15 p.m. Gotta love daylight savings, right? Anyway, I'm here to let you know that I have finished reading When She Reigns, and I'm happy to say that I very much enjoyed the last third of this book. I was a little bit nervous because the first like 2 sections that I updated you on, I was telling you how I like didn't hate it but didn't love it. This last bit really made up for that. There was a subversion that I didn't expect, although I should have expected it. Basically, even before the midpoint, like maybe a couple chapters before the midpoint, the main character Mira figured out what she had to do in order to like save people. And I was like, well, why is that happening? And then there's still 250 pages left in this book. Like, that's dumb. But then as we got into Act 3, there was like a little hint of a subversion that I was like, oh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I understand what that's going. And that did happen, but then it like took it a step further in a way I didn't expect, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was really well done. It does wrap up a little bit too neatly for my tastes. I wish there was a little bit more mess, I guess, is how I can say that. But overall, I would say this definitely makes up for the slog that was book 2, but it was not nearly as good as book 1. So it's like a little like that is my graph of book 1 to 2 to 3. So yeah, I'm satisfied with this conclusion to this first trilogy that I'm finishing up in this vlog. So that means we get to move on to the next one, and that would be the Devabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a series that went much the way of The Fallen Isles, where I really, really, really liked the first book, and then the second one, not so much. I felt like the first half of the second book was kind of boring, and then the second half was so full of action. So I'm hoping this third one is good. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a lot of details, but I feel like I said that going into the last book I just read, and I was perfectly fine. So hopefully I can just slide right into this book and catch up as I get through the first few chapters. But I'm not starting it just yet. I think my plan for this evening is to have dinner and shower and maybe watch a movie. I'm not too sure. I don't have a lot planned for the night, but I think a nice chill movie with a snack would be fun. And then before bed, I will get started on The Empire of Gold. This is a chunky one. She's almost 800 pages, so I don't know how I'm gonna split up the updating of this vlog as I read this, but we'll just see as things go. I will let you know how things are going once I get into this and have something to update you on. Hello friends, it is currently 2 p.m. on Friday afternoon. It has been 2 whole days since I updated you, right? Has it been 2 days? I think Wednesday is when I finished reading When She Reigns and said I was going to start Empire of Gold. But I'm not positive on that. I think it's been 2 whole days, but regardless, it's been a while. And the reason for that is because I cannot convince myself to read. I've just finished part 1 of Empire of Gold, which is the first 13 chapters. There's 48 chapters plus a prologue and an epilogue, so like 50-ish. So I'm like barely into this. I'm like 20% in. And it's taken me 2 whole days because I can't get myself to sit down and read for whatever reason. Like, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with this book. I just don't know why I can't sit and read for more than 5 minutes at a time. But I have liked what I've read so far. It picks up almost exactly at the end of book 2, which is interesting because there's a 5-year time jump between books 1 and 2. So I expected another time jump, but no, it just picks up right away. We got to see a little bit of Cairo, which we haven't seen since the first book. Also, I realized that this apparently takes place in the 18th century. I genuinely thought this was modern day because most of it takes place in like a fantasy magic city. So like when there was no technology or anything, I just assumed it's because magic was happening. But no, it takes place in the 18th century, and what clued me in is when, I'm sorry if you can hear my cat crying, I think she wants into the bathroom, but she's not allowed in there because she will eat the toilet paper. That's what's going on in the background, if you can even hear her. It's fine. She'll be okay. But yeah, we were in Cairo, and Nari, one of the main characters, was talking to this guy, and he mentioned the French occupation of Egypt, and I was like, wait, what? So I had to do some Googling, and apparently it says it in the blurb of the first book that it takes place in the 18th century. I missed that, and I just didn't pick up on any clues, if there were any clues in the first 2 books, but That's just me being stupid, I guess. We have her, we have Ollie, and I've always loved the two of them. They are great characters, but we also have Dara as a POV, same three POV characters we've had since book one. And I don't like Dara. I'm sorry. I just, I liked him in the first book, and then something happened in Act 3 of book one where I'm just like, no, I don't like this man at all. So I don't really care about his chapters. I mean, obviously they're important, I'm reading them. I just, I'm not having as much fun with those as I am with Ollie and Nara's chapters. The breaks for the different parts in this book are kind of wonky, so I'm not sure when the next one I'm going to update you is. So, like I said, part 1 was 13 chapters. Part 2 is 28 chapters long, so more than twice the length. Then part 3 is 3 chapters, and part 4 is 4 chapters, so very small. I don't know why the breaks are done in that way. It's a little bit weird, but I will see whenever I update you next. It might be at the end of part 2, it might be before then. If I get to a part where I'm like, yo, I gotta update my vlog about this. I really don't know, but I'm going to hopefully pick up the speed on reading this because, like I said, I'm enjoying it. I want to read it. I just can't convince my stupid brain to do so. Hopefully this weekend I will get better at it though, and I will see you at some point in the future with an update.
Hello, friends. It is like 11:30, still on Friday. I'm so tired, but my boyfriend has been out on a bike ride with his bike riding friend group, whatever collection of people that he hangs out with and goes bike riding with. That was an awful explanation. You can really tell how tired I am, but I don't like going to bed while he's out, so I've been reading on and off for the past several hours, and I managed to get through the next 26 chapters. So I'm twice as far. No, not the next 26 chapters. The next 13 chapters. I just finished chapter 26. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm twice as far into the book as I was the last time I updated you this morning, or this afternoon. I think it was this afternoon. God, I'm all out of sorts. I'm so tired. I'm so glad my boyfriend is on his way home so I can get ready for bed and hopefully be asleep within like the next 30 minutes. Anyway, an update on the book. I'm really enjoying it. Pretty much the same stuff I said earlier still applies. I'm enjoying Nari and Ollie's chapters more than Dara's. We're actually seeing less of Dara, which is something that I remember from book 2 as well. That most of the chapters are Nari and Ollie, which is, I think, different from book 1. I think Ollie's POV was the smallest in book 1, but also I read that a year ago, so I could be misremembering. But yeah, I am really invested in this. I'm just past the halfway mark, so making good progress. I don't know what was up with me the past few days where I was just feeling stuck and slumpy and all those other words you can use, but I seem to be out of it. We'll see if that sticks. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this all ends up. My favorite character is back. My favorite character is Jamshid. Jamshid? I don't know how it's pronounced. I don't speak Arabic or any similar languages that these names would be pulled from. Yeah, he's my favorite character. He's like a side character, but he's like an important side character. And we haven't seen him at all in this whole book. And he's finally back, and I'm so happy. I love him a lot. He's great. I have been told that the short story collection that I did know existed, but like I haven't heard anything about it until today. I've heard that it's really good and really fills in some of the gaps that the books leave in terms of like story and stuff, so that is something that this person highly recommends that I read when I finish this. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that, and hopefully I will get to it reasonably in a reasonable time. That's what I was trying to say. God, I need to go to sleep. So I'm gonna end this clip here, and I will see you guys in an amount of time, hopefully when I am more coherent and rested and when I've made more progress on this book. So, good night, friends.
Y'all, When I tell you that these last 10 chapters that I read are everything that I've wanted out of this series, they've been so good. The tension, the drama, those are kind of the same thing, but not really. The politics, the romance, there's a car going by that is so rude of them. Like, literally everything has just been chef's kiss. Perfect. Amazing. Genuinely obsessed. I didn't even. Oh my god. I didn't know Chloe was in here. I was gonna say I didn't even tell you when it is. It is currently Saturday, like 3-ish in the evening. Nope, afternoon. It is not yet evening when it's only 3. Oh my god. Hi. Yeah, I've just finished part 2, and I'm loving this. This might be my favorite book in the series just because of what's been happening and all the stuff that's been ramping up. Ma'am, stop staring down the camera. You're creepy. Um, I only have 7 chapters left. Chloe, I'm trying to vlog here. Oh my god. Um, I do have other stuff to get done today. Like apparently shower my cat in love and affection. But I only have 7 chapters left, so I kind of really just want to finish it. But I'm gonna be responsible. Do not put your butthole on me, ma'am. I'm gonna do some of the other things for my to-do list first, and then I'm definitely finishing this book today. But I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm going to be responsible. Yeah, it's so good. I'm so obsessed. I'm so glad that I've gotten over that mini reading slump that I was in because, like I said, these last 10, maybe even the last 15 chapters have just been so good. I can't stop reading, but I have to. Okay, Chloe's telling me that I gotta end this vlog clip, so I will see you when I finish this book. So things have not exactly gone to plan. It is currently Sunday the 17th, like 11:15, and I didn't finish reading Empire of Gold yet. In fact, I've only read 1 chapter since my last update. And that's because my boyfriend's mom decided to surprise us and come visit. So she's been here for a little bit. My boyfriend is going to drop her off now so she can head home. But we've just been hanging out doing stuff with her. One of the things that we did was go to this yard sale event that was happening. There's a street a couple blocks away from us that I'd say every like 6 months or so, they get together and a bunch of people on the street will put out stuff for a yard sale. And I got some stuff, so I figured I would interrupt this reading vlog for a little bit of a haul. So first we stopped at this one table that was put out by a local artist, and so she had a bunch of really cool stuff, and so I got this postcard that she designed. This was actually like a freebie thing that she was handing out because it has her like Instagram and website on it, so I will leave her linked down below for you to check out because we love supporting people here. And I think this is so pretty. I kind of want to get a frame for it and hang it on the wall because I really like the art on it, but that's not even what we bought from her. So my boyfriend got a mug that's currently sitting in the kitchen sink because we want to wash it, so I can't show you, but it just had like a funny little creature on it, and so of course we had to pick that up. And then I got a mystery art grab bag thing because she had a bunch of them. It was like $5 each, and she said like, yeah, I was just cleaning out my studio and got rid of a bunch of stuff that I don't need. So most of it was like markers or colored pencils and like other drawing slash coloring implements, or like a bunch of them were like sewing things like needles, buttons, thread, twine, stuff like that. I have plenty of markers, I have plenty of sewing stuff. What I didn't have was candle wicks. So I grabbed one of the grab bags because I saw it had a bag of candle wicks, and there's like a lot of them. I don't know if you can see, there's so many, but I guess in 2025 I'm gonna give candle making a shot. I have my one friend Katie is like an artist. She does a bunch of random things, and they do a bunch of random things. Wow, I don't think I've ever accidentally used the wrong pronoun for Katie before. That was weird. They do a bunch of random artsy things, and so we are going to stop by Joanne to pick up some candle making stuff like wax and stuff. I have a bunch of empty jars that we can use, so we're good on that. But we're gonna give candle making a try. What I didn't see, so I'll show you the other thing that I saw in the bag. I saw the candle wicks and I saw this little charm. It's a little obelisk, and I thought it was really cute, so I might put that on a necklace or something. But those are the two things that I saw in the grab bag where I'm like, yeah, I like that. I'll spend $5 on that. What I didn't see hidden behind the little charm cardboard was this bag of like earring posts. Like it's the part that goes in your ear and then you attach things to dangle from it. And there's apparently 144 pieces. So you can make, what's half of 144? 72? Did I do that quick math correctly? But yeah, make a lot of pairs of earrings, which I don't. I have my ears pierced, but I don't wear earrings often. But you can make some earrings. I think that'll also be fun for me and Katie to do when we hang out. Whenever we hang out, we just do the most random things, so this would be not out of the ordinary. So I got 2 new fun crafts to try out from that, so very happy with that purchase. And then at one of the other tables, there was someone selling a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. We picked up a puzzle feeder for the cats, and I also got a book because you know me, I'm not walking anywhere or without going anywhere or not picking up a book if possible. So I got The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin, which has this stunning cover. I'm kind of obsessed, and I saw this on like booktube or Instagram or something recently and was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and it also sounds interesting, which is why I picked it up. So there's like a mystical woman who claims to be able to tell anyone the day that they will die. The Gold Children, 4 adolescents on the cusp of self-awareness, sneak out to hear their fortunes, and then the story like is told over the course of the next 5 decades following these 4 siblings and what they do. And so it sounds a little bit magical realism, a little bit literary, so like not 100% my vibe, but interesting enough that I'm willing to try it out, and it only cost me $2. So I'm excited to pick this up sometime. It's not very long. It is like 350 pages, so that's fun. Oh, it's a little bit damaged. That's sad. I don't know if you can see like discoloration on the top, but it is a used book, so who's surprised? So those are my yard sale finds. I'm very happy with my purchases. I'm going to make it a priority today to finish reading Empire of Gold. So that's going to be, well, actually, it's not going to be my next course of action. My next course of action is going to be doing some like housework, cleaning up the place because I really have to do that. But besides that, my priority for the day is finishing Empire of Gold. I'm streaming tonight, so if I don't get to it during the day, I will definitely be reading during those sprints. But I'm going to finish that book tonight and then introduce the next and last book for this vlog to you guys. I'm very excited for that. So for real this time, I will see you when I finish reading Empire of Gold. Okay, friends, it has been a few hours. It is now well into the afternoon, but I'm here to let you know that I did, in fact, finish reading The Empire of Gold. This was definitely my favorite in the series. I think it's so amazing. It really closed out things in a way that felt so satisfying. Like, I'm not one for the, like, one final battle to determine the fate of the world. Like, that whole thing's not really my vibe. But, I do think this book did that well, and I find it satisfying in this situation. It made me cry. I didn't think it would get me, but it was the last chapter. Oh, it was just, I'm not going to spoil any details, but it was Nari learning about her past, and that's what got me. I'm like, oh no, I feel the tears, I feel them coming. So it did make me cry. And then there was the epilogue, so it wasn't like the very end of the story, but it was like the end of the story, you know? I see why there were breaks where they were in the book. I do think part 2 should have been split. Like, there's definitely a spot or two where it could have been made more even, which, like, it doesn't have to be even, but like it would make me feel better. And obviously everything needs to cater to me personally, right? Yeah, I love this book. It was so good. It definitely makes up for book 2 being a little bit subpar. I gotta get physical copies of these because there's several different covers and they're all beautiful. So like obviously I want them on my shelf because I really loved them and they're gorgeous. I gotta get copies, but that'll happen eventually, maybe, probably. We'll see. Now, I get to tell you about the third book for this vlog. I'm not going to start it yet. I'll probably start it tonight during my stream. But the last trilogy I'll be finishing out in this vlog is the Gold Seer trilogy by Ray Carson, and the third book is Into the Bright Unknown. And I'm so excited. Sorry if you can hear stuff. I don't know what's going on outside, but there's like weird sounds happening. So if you can hear that, my bad. But anyway, this series is historical fantasy set during the mid 1800s during the American Gold Rush, and it follows Leah, who can sense gold in the ground, which you can see how that is important during the American Gold Rush. And the first book follows her traveling across the country. I think she starts off in Georgia and then ends up in California, which is the main setting of the Gold Rush. And the second book is her in California. This third one, I think it gets a little political. I'm pretty sure. I read the blurb a long time ago when I like finished the second book, so like, what was that, April, May? Sometime around then. And I think it said that the antagonist in this book is like a rising political figure in California. Because was California a state at this point? I think this is when California was like in the process of becoming an official state. So that probably has something to do with it. I can't wait. I gave both the first and the second book in this series a 10 out of 10, like perfect. I was obsessed with them. So I've got very high hopes for this one, and I've heard that it does not disappoint. Like, I'm a little bit nervous that I am setting my hopes a little too high, but how could I not when I was obsessed with the first two, you know? So I am going to get started on that tonight. It's quite short. This is the book that I thought this is the short one that I thought the first one was. The first one was longer than I thought. It is only like 360 pages, I think, according to Goodreads, so should not take me long at all, especially if I'm enjoying it. I'll probably zoom right through it, but that's where we're at now. I am going to get going on other stuff before my stream. I've got a couple of hours that I want to spend doing other things besides reading. Imagine that, doing things besides reading. Who am I? Yeah, I will see you at some point in the future with an update on this last book. Hello, friends. It is just about noon on Monday, and I'm halfway through Into the Bright Unknown. I forgot the name of the book for a second there, but I've read the first 12 chapters, and there's 12 more to go, so I'm at the midpoint, and it's so good, you guys. There's so much, like, drama and tension, like, characters doing things that you don't expect. Like, some people are a little bit shady. We've been introduced to some new characters that I'm, like, still trying to figure out what their deal is, and I'm so intrigued. It's so good, you guys. I really do love this. It's definitely living up to the first two books, which is great. I'm very happy, because if it didn't, I would have been absolutely devastated. But I do still have 12 more chapters to go, so, I mean, it might bomb, but I don't see why it would. We're gonna hope I didn't just jinx myself there. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and give you a quick little update. I think there's every chance that I finish this book tonight. Honestly, it's been a really quick read. It's so good. Like, as soon as I finish up everything else that I have to do, I'm heading right back to reading, and there's nothing to stop me from finishing it unless I don't have the time, but I should have time. I'm sorry if you can hear noises in the background. I think my boyfriend's making lunch. It sounds like there's a lot of dishes clanking around. Anyway, yes, that's my whole update. I'm really loving this, and I can't wait to see how the whole thing plays out, so I will see you at some point, probably later tonight, when this book is done. Hello, friends. It is 7:45 p.m. on Monday still, but I'm here to say that I have finished reading Into the Bright Unknown, and holy cow, what a book. This was so good. I will say, if I have to complain about anything, this has, like, slightly less action than the first two. And it's not, like, a complaint in that I'm, like, disappointed in that. Like, I'm still giving this book a 10 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wish I could write a book like this. But it's a complaint in that it just felt a little different than the first two because there was slightly less action. There's still plenty of actionable scenes, it's just not as much as the first two. As if I need to repeat myself in another way again. Anyway, I just, I loved this so much. The last chapter, I didn't cry. I did not cry. But I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. So, I'm actually surprised this one didn't make me cry. I don't remember if the first one did, but I know the second book definitely made me cry. I think twice, actually. At least once, probably twice. But this was just fantastic. The whole series all around is one of my favorite series, obviously, because I gave them all 10 out of 10. I need to get physical copies of these because I will be rereading them at some point in the future, and I want to do so physically. Also, I just want like the trophy of it on my shelf, like look at these amazing books that I've read. But that brings us to the end of this vlog because I've finished out 3 trilogies. First, we had the Fallen Isles, which was a good conclusion, but definitely the weakest of the bunch for the ones that I've read for this vlog. Then we had the third book in the Daevabad trilogy, which was so good. That was definitely the best book in the entire trilogy, and I'm so happy to have finished it because I had a great time. And then, of course, we had the conclusion of the Gold Steer trilogy, which definitely takes the cake. So we had like a rising, like steps as we went from one book to the next in this vlog, and I'm not mad about that. I think I enjoyed all 3 of these books, so that's a success for me. I am glad to have gotten these series under wraps because, you know, I don't mind having a ton of series on the go, but it is a good feeling to finish some, you know, just get to see how the story plays out. But with all that said and done, it's time to close out this vlog. So if you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.